Hello guys, and welcome back to How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft. Well, the bees are still working away and the chests are starting to fill up, so it's time we found a way to do something with all of those extra bees that we're not using. So we're going to be looking at another machine from the Forestry mod. And the machine is the Genepool. Now the Genepool's a useful machine because it allows us to take all of the bees that we're not using and convert them into liquid DNA. Now we don't have a use for that liquid DNA at the moment, but in the future we will be able to use it to splice our own genomes together and create our own genetically enhanced bees. Now it isn't a complex machine to build, but it does have quite a lot of steps. It's fairly cheap, so let's head on over to the workshop and I can show you how to put one together. Now as I said, it's cheap and easy to build, but there are a few steps. All you're really going to need is a crafting table, but you will need a carpenter to make one of the items. So let's do that first. I'm going to turn the power on and I need to make a simple circuit, and that is 1 tin ingot in the middle, and then 3 redstone down the left hand side, 3 redstone down the right hand side, and that will give us our simple circuit. Or basic circuit. So there we go, we have our basic circuit. Let's clear that out, and that's all we need the carpenter for. Now over to the crafting bench. Okay, so here's the steps we need to follow at the crafting table. First we need 8 bronze ingots in a square, and that will give us a sturdy casing. Sturdy casings we have made many times before. Sturdy casing back in the middle of the crafting table with a redstone top and bottom, and then 6 copper ingots, 3 down the left, 3 down the right, will give us our Apiarist machine. Now the Apiarist machine on its own does absolutely nothing, it's just a building block for more complex machines. Back into the middle of the crafting table with that, we want to take the basic circuit that we built in the carpenter and place that at the bottom. You're going to need a lapis lazuli placed at the top, and then 6 iron ingots, 3 down the left and 3 down the right. That will give you a genetic machine. Now, like the Apiarist machine, the genetic machine on its own does nothing, it's just a building block. Back in the middle with that, glass block on the top. You're going to need 4 Buildcraft tanks, top left, top right and either side of the genetics machine. Redstone at the bottom in the middle, and a gold ingot in either corner at the bottom. And there we go, we have our Genepool. Now what you're also going to need for this is some transport pipes, because you're going to need to put bees into the Genepool. You're going to need some liquiducts or waterproof transport pipes and tanks to store the liquid DNA, and you're also going to need some engines to power the Genepool. And of course, being forestry, it runs off Buildcraft power. So let's pop back over to the apiaries and put it all together. So guys, very quickly before I just put the Genepool down, I just want to re-explain something that I mis-explained in the last video with the Apiarist's pipe. If you look in the pipe, you will see that it's divided into 6 columns in total, but those 6 columns are divided up into 3 pairs. And one of the problems I was having is that certain bees were being spat out of the pipe and just landing here on the ground. The reason for that is that I was actually specifying 2 different bees in each of the pairs. So let me use this red column for example, the red row, because we don't have a red pipe, so I'm not going to cause any harm. What I had, for example, was a forest bee in the first slot, and then maybe a meadows bee in the second slot, because I wanted the forest bees and the meadows bees both to go down the red pipe. However, the way these columns work is it's the first 2 columns, or the second 2 columns, or the third 2 columns, and within the columns it's and. So if you put 2 bees in one of the pairs, so for example I've got the forest and the meadows bee, a bee will only go through if it is a forest bee and a meadows bee, so it has to be a hybrid between the 2. So anything that isn't a forest and a meadows bee gets spat out. What I should have done was put my meadows bee in the second pair of columns, or the third pair of columns. So unless you want specifically bees that are crossbred, in which case you can specify the pairing in a pair of columns, you need to spread them out over each pair. It's a little bit complicated, but doing it this way means you can separate purebred bees from thoroughbred bees. So the way I have it set up at the moment, items go through the white pipe, so they go across into that chest there. Then in the green pipe, I have princesses that are maroon or saffron or valiant. So all the maroon, saffron and valiant princesses go through the green, which goes into the Apiarist chest. In the yellow pipe, we have drones, so any maroon, saffron or valiant drones will go through the yellow back into the main chest. And then any other bees that haven't been sorted by the system will go through the blue pipe into our overflow chest over there. So this is where we're going to put down our gene pool. I've already built a tank. You can use waterproof transport pipes or liquid ducts, so I am going to use liquid ducts. I've got 3 peat-fired engines here that are all being supplied with peat from the peat bog and some redstone power conduits supplying power. So let us pop the gene pool down here right on top of the power. That's instantly connected. Now here's our chest over here with our bees in. Let's get rid of some of this grass because it is in the way. And what are we breaking there? Oh, we've got some seeds. Freebies, good. Let's break a couple of these flowers out of the way. Okay. So, let's get rid of those. First thing we're going to need is a wooden transport pipe and a redstone engine and a lever. So we want our wooden transport pipe to come out of the chest. We want some stone transport pipes because we want to come out of the chest and go into the gene pool, but then we want to continue the pipe back around and go back into the chest because this is our overflow solution with the Buildcraft pipes. So if there's room in the gene pool for bees, they will go into the gene pool. If there isn't room, they'll carry on around the pipe and go back into the chest. So that's not too much of a problem. I could hide all this under the ground later, make it a little neater and tidier. So let us pop that lever down there. I'm going to flick the switch just to get that going and make sure it works. While it's doing that, I'm going to get my liquid ducts and I will start to connect these to the tank. I'm just keeping my eye on the bees just so I can see what they're doing. Got to go over this wire, not the most elegant solution, but there again, are my solutions to these things ever really elegant? Let us connect these last couple of pipes up. That is fine. Get my crescent hammer. Now what's happening here? Let's just have a look. So, no bee. Yeah, bees haven't gone in yet. Sometimes they will hit and miss. It's just the nature of Buildcraft pipes. Buildcraft pipes don't always divert bees in. There's one going there now. So say it's pretty much 50-50 which way they're going to go unless it's full. So it is starting to take bees in, which is good. This needs to be output. Lots of junk in my pack now. We need a redstone signal for the pipe to work, for the liquid duct. So let's just put a lever down there. And let's just have a quick look. Yeah, it's not taking all the bees in yet. Okay, so the gene pool now has 6 bees in the main holding block and a 7th bee ready to be processed. So now, unless I have done this terribly wrong, all of the other bees should just carry on around the system and go back into the chest. And it looks very much like that's what's happening. I can't see any more bees trying to go into the gene pool. Brilliant, so the overflow system's working. So what we're going to do now, we are going to throw the main power and turn on our peat-fired engines, and that should provide power to our gene pool. And there you can see we are already starting to liquefy the bees. You get this very pretty DNA double helix sequence here, and when it reaches the tank, there you can see we are 2% full. So it does have its own internal storage tank. We've now got space for a bee, and there goes a bee from the pipe. So that's working, absolutely brilliant. and we are turning our bees, our excess bees, into liquid DNA. So there's a bit more in there, and there goes in another bee to take the place. Brilliant. So the sorting system is working absolutely fine. So let us throw this switch and that should turn on our liquid duct. Indeed it has. And the liquid is starting to flow through, and there you can see in our Railcraft tank we now have liquid DNA. So it's a great way to get rid of all of those extra bees, turn them into liquid DNA and fill up a tank. And then in a future video we will be building our splicer, and we will be looking at ways to make your own bees. You can play God with bees. And this machine I can leave on. It'll be supplied peat automatically. It will keep churning these bees into liquid DNA and pumping them in the tank. This chest will keep getting full up with bees, providing I keep my bees going. Have I got anything interesting to breed with? Yes, I have. I've got those. Like I said, I do some of these manually still, because sometimes you get interesting breeds of bee. Now, you do get more DNA for a princess and a queen than you do for a drone. So queens and princesses are better for liquid DNA. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen, you have the Genepool. So guys, thanks once again for watching. Hopefully now you understand a little bit more about bee breeding, and we are on our way to genetically engineered bees. Sorry once again about my misinformation for the Apiarist pipe in the last video. Who knew that sorting out different types of bees was going to be such a complicated venture? And I hope as always you found this video informative and entertaining. If you have, please like, share and subscribe, as it really helps the channel to grow. And as always, if you have any ideas for things you'd like to see in future episodes, if there's a particular item or machine or mod that you'd like to see me build and demonstrate, either send me a message or leave it in the comments below. So until next time, I have been UnstableVoltage, and this has been How to Feed the Beast in Minecraft, and I'll see you on the next video. Goodbye for now.